Hi guys, welcome back to Flick Finesse. Today we're checking out 12 horror movies that you might have missed streaming on Peacock, Tubi, and some other platforms. These aren't your usual mainstream hits. Some are hidden gems, others a bit overlooked, but all of them have something that will keep you on the edge of your seat. From creepy supernatural stories to tense psychological thrillers, and a few that mix both in a chilling way, there's plenty here to satisfy every horror fan. So get ready, turn off the lights, and let's dive into these scary surprises. Number 12. Brightburn. Brandon Breyer is a boy who was found as a baby in a spaceship and raised by a kind couple on their farm. For many years he seemed like an ordinary child, but as he grows older, strange powers begin to reveal themselves. Instead of becoming a hero, he shows a darker side, using his abilities not for good, but for destruction. His parents struggle to understand what is happening and how to deal with their son. The boy himself becomes more distant, cold, and dangerous. What should have been a miracle for the family slowly turns into a nightmare. The film cleverly twists the superhero myth into horror, making the familiar story frightening. Jackson A. Dunn plays Brandon with chilling precision. He looks innocent on the outside, but his performance leaves no doubt that something terrifying hides inside. Elizabeth Banks and David Denman, as the parents, bring both love and fear to the screen. Their reactions make the story even more believable. Brightburn is a dark mix of superhero origin and horror. Some viewers found it shocking and unique, while others thought it left ideas unexplored. But one thing is certain. It delivers tense atmosphere, disturbing imagery, and a fresh, unsettling answer to the question, what if a superpowered child chose evil instead of good? Number 11. Evolution. A young boy named Nicholas lives on a remote island where only women and boys seem to exist. He begins to sense that something is not right. The women all look alike and follow strange rituals. The boys are taken to the hospital for mysterious treatments they cannot understand. Nicholas grows more curious and starts asking questions. His mother tells him stories that do not feel true. The sea becomes both a place of beauty and fear, and slowly the boy realizes that the island hides a secret about life, birth, and control. Max Burbant plays Nicholas with natural innocence and quiet strength. Julie Marie Parmentier, as his mother, brings an unsettling calmness that makes the story even more disturbing. The cast is small, but each performance feels haunting and deliberate. Their restrained acting adds to the strange, dreamlike tone of the film. Number 10. Housebound. Kylie, a troubled young woman, is caught trying to steal, and as punishment, the court sends her to live under house arrest. She must return to her mother's old house, where every sound and creak makes her uneasy. At first, she only feels annoyed by her talkative mother and the small-town boredom, but soon strange noises and unsettling events convince her that something is very wrong inside the walls. The more she investigates, the less sure she is of what is happening. Her skepticism turns into fear as secrets slowly begin to surface. What seemed like a simple ghost story takes unexpected turns, blending family drama, tension, and dark humor in surprising ways. The movie works both as a horror and as a comedy. Instead of cheap scares, it builds atmosphere and character-driven suspense. Morgana O'Reilly gives Kylie sharp wit and believable fear, while the supporting cast adds charm and odd humor. Housebound proves that a haunted house can still feel fresh with clever writing and strong performances. Number 9. A Wounded Fawn. Meredith is an art curator who decides to give herself a chance at a new beginning after the pain of a past relationship. She accepts an invitation from Bruce, a seemingly charming man, and follows him to a remote cabin in the woods. At first, everything feels like the start of a fresh romance, but slowly strange signs appear that not everything is as it seems. The quiet trip soon turns into something much darker, and Meredith finds herself caught in a nightmare she never expected. This is a psychological horror with surreal touches where mythology and reality collide. Instead of relying on jump scares, the film creates tension through disturbing atmosphere, hallucinations, visions, and unsettling behavior. The viewer is left questioning what is real and what is imagined. The slow burn style keeps the suspense tight and unpredictable until the very end. Sarah Lind delivers a convincing and layered performance as Meredith, balancing vulnerability with strength. Josh Rubin, as Bruce, shifts from charming to menacing with ease, making the tension even more intense. Together, their performances carry the film and give weight to its strange, dreamlike tone. A Wounded Fawn is bold, unusual, and haunting, the kind of horror that lingers in the mind long after it is over. Number 8. Good Manners. Clara, a quiet nurse in São Paulo, is hired by Ana, a wealthy and glamorous woman, to help her through a difficult pregnancy. Their relationship begins formally, but soon develops into a strange bond full of trust and hidden desire. At first, everything looks like a typical drama about two very different women, but unusual things start to happen around Anna's condition. Slowly, Clara realizes that the pregnancy carries a secret that is far from ordinary, and her life will never be the same again. This is not a simple horror film, but more of a dark fairy tale, blending romance, fantasy, and supernatural elements. Instead of focusing on scares, the story builds tension through character relationships and atmosphere. The film moves at a slow rhythm but creates strong emotions, mixing tenderness with fear. Good Manners stands out as a unique psychological fantasy where love and terror live side by side. Number 7. In Fabric. Sheila, a lonely bank clerk, is slogging through the holiday chaos when she snags a striking red dress from a bizarre department store. She's hoping for a confidence boost, but things get weird fast. Creepy, unexplainable stuff starts trailing her, and that dress feels like it's got a dark streak of its own. The strangeness doesn't stop with Sheila. Halfway through, the story flips, following the dress as it messes with a new set of lives. This isn't your run-of-the-mill horror with cheap scares. In Fabric is a slow, trippy thriller, blending dark humor, surreal vibes, and a creeping dread that sticks. Marianne Jean-Baptiste nails Sheila's mix of lonely and spooked. The visuals, bold colors, eerie lighting, and the haunting sound design crank up the unease. It's quirky, original, and lingers like a bad dream. Critics dig its offbeat humor and how it weaves horror with pure absurdity. If you're into weird, atmospheric films that keep you hooked, this one's a wild ride worth taking. Number 6. May. May is a young woman struggling with loneliness and a difficult childhood. She works at an animal hospital and spends her free time making dolls, trying to fill the emptiness in her life. As she attempts to form friendships and connections, she becomes obsessed with creating the perfect friend. Slowly, her desire to belong and be accepted takes a dark and disturbing turn. The film is a psychological horror with slow-burning tension, mixing drama, dark humor, and moments of real unease. Instead of chasing scares or action, it focuses on character behavior, atmosphere, and small, unsettling incidents. Every scene builds the feeling that something unpredictable is about to happen, keeping the viewer glued to the screen. Angela Bettis delivers a haunting and convincing performance, capturing May's vulnerability and quiet menace. The cinematography and sound design add to the eerie and intimate tone of the film. Critics praised it for originality and the way it blends horror with a darkly emotional character study. May is disturbing, strange, and unforgettable, the kind of film that stays with you long after it ends. Number 5. The grandmother. Susanna is a Parisian model who returns to Madrid after her grandmother, Pilar, suffers a stroke. At first, everything seems normal as she takes care of her grandmother, but soon strange and unsettling events begin to happen. Susanna starts noticing that her grandmother is hiding secrets and that there may be dark forces at work in the family. What begins as a simple visit slowly turns into a chilling nightmare that she cannot escape. The film is a psychological and supernatural horror with slow-building tension, mixing drama, mystery, and eerie moments. Instead of relying on cheap scares, it focuses on character reactions, atmosphere, and small unsettling incidents. Every scene adds to the feeling that something unpredictable is about to happen, keeping the viewer glued to the screen. Almudena Amor and Vera Valdez deliver strong and convincing performances. The cinematography, sound design, and pacing all contribute to the haunting and suspenseful tone. Critics praised the film for originality, mood, and the way it blends family drama with supernatural horror. The grandmother is disturbing, strange, and unforgettable, the kind of horror that stays with you long after it ends. Number 4. Tales from the Hood. Tales from the Hood is a horror anthology about several dark and twisted stories told by a mysterious funeral home driver to a group of visitors. Each story mixes supernatural horror with crime, social issues, and dark humor. At first, the stories seem separate, but slowly a bigger picture about justice, karma, and consequences begins to emerge. The film is not a typical jump-scare horror, but a clever mix of suspense, thriller, and moral lessons. Instead of chasing action, it focuses on atmosphere, character behavior, and shocking incidents. Every story keeps the viewer engaged and curious about what will happen next. The cast delivers convincing performances across all segments. The writing balances scares, social commentary, and humor in a way that still feels fresh today. Critics praise the film for originality, clever storytelling, and blending horror with real-world issues. Tales from the Hood is disturbing, entertaining, and unforgettable, the kind of anthology that stays with you long after the credits. Number 3. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The Exorcism of Emily Rose is about a young woman named Emily who suffers from terrifying and unexplained episodes of possession. Her family calls for help from the church, and Father Moore, a priest, is assigned to perform the exorcism. During the process, things take a tragic turn, and Father Moore ends up in court accused of negligent homicide. The story switches between courtroom scenes and flashbacks of Emily's horrifying experiences. Her struggle with the dark forces is intense, and the movie keeps you guessing whether this is supernatural or psychological horror. Laura Linney plays the lawyer, skeptical but determined to find the truth. Jennifer Carpenter is Emily, and her performance is genuinely haunting. She shows fear, pain, and the terrifying moments of possession convincingly. Tom Wilkinson as Father Moore brings gravity to the role of a priest torn between faith and doubt. Critics say the movie is more about drama than jump scares, but still creates a tense and unsettling atmosphere. The mix of courtroom thriller and supernatural horror works well. There are moments that genuinely scare, and the story keeps a slow build of suspense, making it worth watching for one-time viewing or more. Number 2. Scary stories to tell in the dark. When a group of teenagers in a small town finds an old book of scary stories, they think it is just a collection of creepy tales to read at night. However, very soon, they understand that the stories inside are coming true and targeting them one by one. The main character, Stella, and her friends try to uncover the mystery behind the book and survive the terrifying events. The film shows different stories from the book and combines them into one continuous, chilling narrative. The cast of teenagers delivers convincing performances, with Zoe Colletti as Stella standing out for her brave and emotional portrayal. Each actor helps make the horror feel more realistic and emotionally engaging. The film is inspired by the book series by Alvin Schwartz, and critics say it perfectly creates a tense and creepy atmosphere. Some might find it too intense for very young viewers. Nevertheless, if you like suspenseful, scary stories with unexpected twists, then this movie is definitely worth watching. Number 1. The Thing. Kate Lloyd, a tough-as-nails scientist, gets called to a remote Antarctic research base where something freaky's been dug up from the ice. It's not just some old fossil. This thing is alien, and it's bad news. When it starts waking up, the crew's paranoia kicks into overdrive. Nobody knows who's human and who's not. Kate's stuck trying to figure out how to stop this nightmare before it spreads, but trust is in short supply, and things get messy fast. This prequel to the 1982 The Thing leans hard into creepy, claustrophobic horror. It's less about cheap scares and more about that gut-twisting dread of not knowing who's who. Mary Elizabeth Winstead kills it as Kate, bringing grit and brains to the role. The effects are gnarly, practical and CGI mixed to make your skin crawl. The snowy, isolated setting amps up the tension, and the pace keeps you locked in, wondering what's next. It's not quite the classic the original is, but it's a solid, chilling ride that'll leave you rattled. If you dig sci-fi horror with a side of paranoia, you won't be disappointed. And that's our list of 12 horror movies you might have missed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments which one you're watching first. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.